What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J, and we are locked in. This is the recap for The Shy, episode 3 of season 6. Now, we have a lot of moving parts in this show. We have a lot of relationships, and we just want to make sure that everyone is getting treated properly and fairly, and these relationships end on a high note and not hitting rock bottom, because we know that we can end up down there really, really quick, especially with all this co-parenting going on, the streets, the politics. Yeah, there's a lot in The Shy going on right now. We got to make sure we make it out of here alive. But before we jump into this and get a recap, if you like the Shy content, breakdowns, theories, and predictions, recaps like this, then hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. I have a goal of reaching 50,000 subscribers by the end of September, so each and every subscriber definitely works. And if you don't see this video at 100 likes, hit that like button. So let's go ahead and jump into it. This is the recap for The Shy, episode 3 of season 6. Emmett has finally bought a house for him and Kiesha, so you know how it is when you move out. You want to get that deposit back, you're going to clean up that place. Emmett's scrubbing, and in comes Tiffany, and she's looking around, and it's a lot of memories in that house. Whether they were good or bad, there's still memories in this apartment. Tiffany comes over, and she really can't believe that Emmett's about to move out, and he says he has a few minutes. If you want to go get breakfast, let's go do it. Now, Tiffany, she agrees, and he makes her drive because he bought her the car. Emmett finally makes it back to the house, and Kiesha's been over here turning the house into a home. We got that new artwork up there that Emmett bought, and we're also getting ready for our first housewarming. Now, of course, they don't have all the seats and all their furniture because they're moving from an apartment to a bigger house. But at least they're about to have a housewarming, and that's where everyone comes together and shows support and helps you out. It takes a village, and right now, there's still some things lingering over these two in this relationship because of everything that's led up to this moment. Papa and his older woman, their relationship is getting closer and closer. Now, it's just a friendship at this moment because Papa is only 17. But there's a man that comes in and has an order for Smokies, but the order he put in, they put the wrong date on. So he's upset with her because the food isn't ready on time. Now, Papa hears all of this and tells him, "Sir, you need to apologize to her, and I give you a complimentary 2 sides." The guy ends up apologizing, and Papa tells her, "I got your back at all times." Well, he is the manager he's going to be looking out for. Plus, he has a little crush on her. So she definitely appreciates that from Papa because she doesn't know how he deals with these rude customers. Over at Emmett's, we're getting prepared for the housewarming. Guests are starting to arrive, and both Emmett and Kiesha invited high school friends, but they both had the same encounter with their high school friends and start to realize that their friends are still stuck in their high school ways. Kiesha's hearing, "Can you guys afford it? How much is the mortgage here? Can you trust Emmett?" Emmett's over here hearing, "Man, you ain't got no girls in here. You ain't wilding out. You ain't getting all the ladies." So both of them two have matured, but they're looking at their peers and realizing they may have outgrown those friendship relationships. And it's getting kind of tough out here because eventually you move on as you become an adult. We know the struggles that Shad has been going to. He's been trying to get his antique shop up and going, selling throwback jerseys on the side of the sidewalk. He doesn't have any income. His girl wanted to look out for him, but he wants to be a man and step up for himself. So he decides to go down to Smokies because he know he can eat there and drink there for free. Well, guess who shows up? Marshawn. If you remember him from season 5, he just gives advice to young men, black men online. These two end up sitting down with each other, and it turns out they have a little in common because Marshawn's been preaching everything that Shad's been living. They're both going to Emmett's housewarming, so they decide to go together. And whose car do they take? They take Shad's girlfriend's car because he doesn't have one. To Marshawn, this is called winning. If you could remember back to last week when they were having ladies' night and all the women were over there drinking, we remember that Tracy said she's better off being single and she's trying to be on a self journey of finding herself. Well, Jada ain't trying to hear none of that. In the realtor, she starts asking him, "Are you single? I got a friend looking for somebody." He said, "No, he's not on the market." He told Emmett last week before buying the house that if he had a fiance, she would be upset if he didn't bring her over. So while Jada's out here looking for a connection for Tracy, we don't know where she is, but the realtor, he's off the market. He doesn't want any parts of this. Nina is coming to the realization that her kids are growing up and starting to do their own thing. So as a mother, when your youngest son, he moved out, your daughter, she moved out, now she moved in with somebody, she has a house, and they didn't even talk to you about, hey, mom, I'm gonna buy a house, you can understand where that parental spirit is going. Like, wow, they're not even using me anymore. They're not asking me for help. But she has to understand these are two adults. Well, Kevin, not so much, but he's making his own money. Kevin comes in, he waves, he doesn't even come and hug his mom. So for her, it's kind of hurting her because these are her babies. And you got to understand, as an adult, as a parent, your kids, no matter how old they are, they're still going to be your baby. But at some point, you have to let go and let them learn. All you can do is give them guidance. And that's what's hurting her right now. Just when the housewarming was getting good, I go to get a cup of Hennessy and I turn around, the music turns off. What do we see? Douda shows up. And once Douda shows up, everyone in the house gets very, very quiet. That's because no one messes with Douda, except for Emmett, because he's in business. This house was because of Douda. That car was because of Douda. Smokey's in New York because of Douda. Those clothes because of Douda. And he shows up with a housewarming gift. Now he tells Emmett, this is something you need to open up right now. Why don't you go upstairs and look at this gift? Now everyone's wondering what this gift is because it's in a nice lock box, black with a black bow. Nook, Bakari, the whole gang showed up. And Nook is in the kitchen, a brand new house about to roll up, and Kiesha tells him, you can't smoke in here. You need to go outside with all of that. Now, if you remember last week, our boy Rob, his mom gave him $100,000 to kind of find out what's going on with her brother, his Uncle Q. So he tells Nook, I'll go outside and smoke one with you, especially because they're all business partner and they're all connected to Douda. Upstairs, it turns out the gift that Douda gave to Emmett for a housewarming gift was a gun. Was it a new gun? Was it a clean gun? Was it a dirty gun? We don't know at this moment, but he got a gun. And Douda tells him every businessman needs to have this thing on him. Douda doesn't leave the house without it. Also, you need to be able to protect your family. Every man should be able to protect their family. Now, Emmett, he's inexperienced with the Thule. He's in the mirror practicing with it. He's dropping the gun, but he does have a gun now. And this could end very badly for him because we see that Emmett isn't taking this serious. Outside, Rob is starting to ask questions. What happened to my Uncle Q? I got this good weed, but what happened to my Uncle Q? What do you know, Nook? Nook is saying, man, he owed a lot of people. I don't know what happened to him. It could have been anybody. Now, Rob is trying to get these answers because that $100,000, it's going to be burning a hole in his pocket that he won't be able to spend until he gets answers. Now, Nook works directly with Douda, so he's not saying anything. But maybe later on, if Rob gives him some money, he might give up that information. But at this point, Nook isn't saying anything, and he goes back in the house. So it has Rob thinking, what's really going on out here in these streets? I don't know about y'all, but the mood is good. This housewarming is actually pretty straight. The music is good. DJ got a nice playlist. The food is good. The macaroni ain't soupy. Use real cheese. Oh yeah, this is the place to be. Well, it turns out little EJ is playing with Ronnie, and he calls Ronnie a little B word. Don't act like a B word. Kiesha hears this and pulls Emmett to the side and says, hey, we can't have him cursing like that because if he's cursing here, he's going to be cursing everywhere. And this isn't something we want kids to do. You need to talk to Tiffany and tell her, hey, EJ is learning these words from riding with you, but she can't be the one to do it because this isn't her child. So it's all up on Emmett to discipline little EJ and get Tiffany on the same page. Victor finally shows up, and him and Douda haven't been seeing eye to eye lately. He comes in here talking to Douda. What are you doing here? Douda tells him, Emmett invited me. Now, these two, they have a little back and forth with each other. And ultimately, Victor says, you better watch how you're talking to me because I'm in politics. I got an elected seat. Basically, I have more power than you in the city. But we know in the streets, Douda has more power. And that neighborhood watch that Victor put together at the Rock isn't going to be enough to save him if Douda, Nook, and Bakari were to come after him. But he puts Douda in his place for a moment. We haven't seen much of Kevin. We know he showed up to get him a home-cooked meal because living on his own is kind of tough, especially when you spend all your money on furniture and electronics and you don't buy groceries. But while he's sitting here, we see him peeping at Kiesha. Now, they out there doing the wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. So they out there doing that little dancing, and he's looking at Kiesha. Now, Emmett comes over, and he's talking to him because at this point, He's really a big brother to him. We know that he helped raise Kevin throughout the first 5 seasons, and now he's with his sister. So he's just looking out for him and telling them, hey, if you like Maisha like that, I understand because I like your sister the same way. And I love you, brother. So these two, they have a connection, but we don't get much of Kevin throughout this episode. Lene stormed out the house during the wobble. Bakari comes out, and we know he's a street cat. Jamal told her earlier he doesn't want his sister dealing with street cats, and he wants to meet Bakari because he was once Bakari when he was younger. Now, Bakari tells Lene he doesn't want to work a 9 to 5. He doesn't want to put in 40 hours a week. He wants to make some fast money on the streets, and this isn't permanent. This is just temporary till he can save up some money. But Lene, she leaves because this isn't the answer she wants to hear. She wants Bakari to be safe so they can have a good relationship. So it's really up to Bakari to decide what is he going to do moving forward from this position. Nook and Kiesha had a relationship in the past. The night that Kiesha came up missing, Nook was actually there. He could have picked Kiesha up. So today he's apologizing. It's been a while, 2 seasons, but he's finally saying, if I would have picked you up that night, Kiesha, you would have never been kidnapped. None of this would have happened. She accepts his apology. Now, that's tough to talk about, but we got to give him credit for being man enough to come in and apologize. It's an unfortunate situation, but I'm glad that these two could put that behind them and accept his apology. Now, Emmett does see it, and he's kind of wondering what's going on because they did date at one point. 2 couples, 1 child, co-parenting. Action. We get into the kitchen, and they start discussing little EJ calling Ronnie a B. Now, everyone in the kitchen laughs, including me. I gave a little chuckle, but Kiesha doesn't like this. Kiesha works in the school system, so she knows if the kids are saying this at the house, then they're going to be saying this in school, and that isn't right. EJ said he heard all of this in Tiffany's car, so Kiesha says, maybe you shouldn't listen to rap music, and if you do, make it the edited version. Now, Emmett should have been the one talking to Tiffany because Kiesha already said she couldn't discipline their child. Tiffany hears this from Kiesha, and she says, I'm going to listen to whatever I want to listen to. Y'all not going to tell me what I need to do with my child in my house. We have our own rules, and she storms out. And Rob's just looking like, I got to go with Tiffany. You remember the housewarming gift? Well, Darnell went into the room and got the gun out the drawer. He comes to talk to Douda and tells Douda, listen, whatever you're doing with my son, and he shows him the gun, he doesn't need any of that. And if anything happens to my son, his girl, his child, then I'll personally kill you. Now, Douda's looking at him smoking a cigar because Douda fears no one. He even told Nook, fall back, I got this. So he lets Darnell know who you talking to. Darnell takes out his earpiece. And when he takes out his earpiece, he tells him, don't let this thing fool you. I will kill you. So right now, Darnell's looking out for his son because he knows Emmett doesn't need that gun, as we mentioned earlier. But Douda is in business, and he needs to protect his assets. Bakari texts Lene because he wants to talk to her and kind of fix the argument that they had over at Emmett's house. Now, he shows up with a peace treaty, with a peace gift, hot Cheetos, and some gummy worms, pause. And he tells her, I'm just doing this long enough that I can save up some money and get out of Papa's house. Lene wants to know how long will that take? And of course, you never know in the streets. It could be saving 10,000, 20, 50, 100. It could be some unthinkable amount that Bakari wants to do. But he's telling her, I'm going to do it, get out, and make sure that you and I are straight. These two make up temporarily, and hopefully Bakari can get out the game before something bad happens to him, because Douda looks like he's on a mission this season. Papa's luck is beginning to run out, and we have to ask, what is she really doing? What is her storyline? Is she trying to get close to Papa to use him because her dad was in it for the money, and Douda's probably in the pastor's pocket and probably wants to get close to Douda and use him to get his dad? Or what's going on? Because she asked him, do you want to go on a date? Well, not a date, a hangout, bowling next Thursday. Papa is underage, and he says, yeah, I just have to be home by 11. But then again, my parents put me in charge of the house because they trusted. So his luck is running out because she says, you know what? Never mind. Because he was doing too much talking and not letting it flow. So Papa, he kind of put his foot in his mouth at this moment. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with him next week and if they actually go bowling or not. Kiesha and Emmett, they end up getting into bed and they're talking about how they outgrew their friends and their friends being stuck in the past and not really leveling up. And the moral of the story is once you level up, you will have to leave some people behind. If you think about it now, there's a lot of people you went to school with, but 99% of them you don't talk to or associate with anymore. It's nothing against them, it's just the way life goes. Emmett looked in his drawer because he lied about the gift, saying it was cigars. But when he looks in there, the gun is gone. So now it has him nervous. Because what if little Ronnie had the gun? What if EJ got the gun? It's on his mind. But luckily, we know Darnell took the gun. All right, there you go. The recap for episode 3 of The Chi. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Is Darnell going to keep the gun or is he going to get rid of it? Is Tiffany going to actually do better at making sure that EJ doesn't listen to rap music? Is Bakari going to get out the game anytime soon? Or is Douda just about to wipe out everyone because everyone was nervous when he showed up to the housewarming? Let me know what you think. I'm J. If you like the Chi content, breakdowns, theories, and predictions, then hit that subscribe button. We're on that road to 50,000 subscribers, and everyone counts. Make sure you tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the live after show where we're actually going to talk about each individual character, break them down, and tell the story behind the story. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.